Welcome to Chapter 4.2, Day 3. And we're going to look at experiments and what can go wrong. Well, the logic of a randomized comparative experiment depends on our ability to treat all the subjects the same in every way except for the actual treatments being compared. Good experiments, therefore, require careful attention to details to ensure that all subjects really are treated identically. So, just some vocabulary words. The response to a dummy treatment is called the placebo effect. In other words, people are getting the same results from a treatment that is not the real treatment, but the people believe they are getting the treatment. And that's called the placebo effect. In a double-blind experiment, neither the subjects nor those who interact with them, so in other words, like the patients and the doctor, they don't know which treatment a subject received. Just a blind experiment is where the experimental unit or the subject does not know, but the person administering the treatment does know. So double-blind is where they both don't know. So those are some definitions. In an experiment, researchers usually hope to see a difference in the responses so large that it is unlikely to happen just because of a chance variation. Okay? So that's, again, researchers usually hope to see a difference in the responses so large that it is unlikely to happen just because of chance variation. So in other words, if we do an experiment, we've got two different treatments, and one treatment comes out that there is a 35% improvement, and the other treatment shows that there's a 37% improvement. Well, that's probably not large enough to show that there's a difference in the two treatments. So what we can do is we can use the laws of probability, which describe chance behavior, to learn whether the treatment effects are larger than we would expect to see if only chance were operating. And that's what the further chapters will discuss that. We'll talk about those laws of probability. Until now, we're just going to call them statistically significant if we see a difference in the responses so large that it's unlikely to happen just because of chance variation. That's sort of the way the textbook goes. We kind of first define it broadly, kind of play with it a little bit, and then we'll start attaching some numbers and some mathematics to it. So again, an observed effect so large that it would rarely occur by chance is called statistically significant. A statistically significant association of data from a well-designed experiment does imply causation. So this is where we get into where we can start defining causation. You know, if you do have a statistically significant association, in other words, you see a difference in the responses that are so large that it's unlikely to happen just because of chance variation in an experiment, and we've got an association, well, this is where we can start implying causation. All right, well, this is the end of day 3, and at this point then you should be able to do the following problems here from section 4.2, number 67, 69, 71, and 73. Please give those a try to help further your knowledge on those vocabulary words. And we'll see you in day 4 of 4.2 next.